They say he was the king, but look how happy he was when he split the scene.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for your daily dose of radio rehab? Because you know we all need some strategies for living.
That's right.
Yeah?
I got a pleasant surprise today.
You did get a pleasant surprise. You Jay Merle walked into the room, but that probably wasn't your pleasant surprise. It was probably Rhonda walking in, right?
No, it was Jay.
It was Jay.
Aw, I
That's
feel
right.
so missed.
He
missed y'all.
has missed you. We've missed you. We've missed you,
missed
Jay.
y'all.
Hey, folks, welcome. Welcome into 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Welcome into another edition of Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillian. He is Jimmie Bryant, Ph.D. That means he produces, he hosts, and he directs. Okay, you ready for your test?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay.
I'll do my best.
One question.
Okay.
Pass or fail.
All right.
What is agoraphobia?
I don't know.
That's the reason.
I fail.
That's no. That's the reason we've titled this program Agoraphobia. What? That's the title of today's
get it
program.
now.
It's not a sweater, okay?
Yeah,
Right.
don't go put it in your after school, shopping list.
No, I'm glad I didn't even try. I don't know.
So we've talked about Jay going back to school.
That's right.
He's gone to LSU Shreveport. He is in the Master of Science program for counseling. And Rhonda Neal, who is another associate and friend of mine, is also in that program with Jay. And she and Jay met up. And Rhonda Neal's here with us today, here on Strategies. We'll introduce both of them because they were in class together. Yeah. They were in a class together last semester, and they've got some things to share.
Sounds good.
And
I'm ready to learn.
Yeah, we're going to learn this evening here on Strategies. Folks, thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living, presented by the Robinson Film Center. We're also brought to you by Azalea Cleaners. We're brought to you by Pintail Roofing.
Roof.
We're brought to you by, I've missed that, Learning RX. We're brought to you by Hempress, Cannabis with Love, 3766 Uri Drive in Shreveport. And we're brought to you by the Shreveport Little Theater. Jay Merle, Rhonda Neal, our life strategist this evening, as we talk about agoraphobia. What? Yeah, agoraphobia. You might not have heard about it, but you might know someone who has it. We'll talk about that and more. We'll unpack it today here on Strategies for Living. Stay with us.
This is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
Welcome in. Welcome into Strategies for Living here on 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Jimmie, Bryant, David McMillian. Of course, we welcome back formally to the program Jay Merle.
It is so good to be here. Over the moon, I'm happy.
We've missed you. And let's welcome in Rhonda Neal, who is the owner of Quality Consultants, LLC. She has been known to hang around Carla McCormick and I a little too much.
I heard that rumor.
Yeah, that's a rumor, but we'll forgive her for that.
Yeah.
So, Rhonda Neal, welcome to
you.
Strategies for Living.
Thank you.
So now let's start up from Quality Consultants. You do something unique with Quality Consultants. What do you do?
Well, I do a few things. One of the things I do is I help people make career choices, career decisions. Yeah. So oftentimes people just don't know what they want to be in life.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how old you are
It takes
or how many
for some
careers
of us.
you've had.
Yeah, for some of us it takes a while.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just help people make that decision, help them find a direction.
I think that's wonderful. So it's a kind of coaching that you're doing.
It is.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Do you use any particular instrumentation to help identify strengths?
Yes.
That type of thing.
I use the Myers-Briggs type indicator. Yeah.
Couldn't use anything more valid and reliable. If you guys have not had that course yet, you will.
Okay.
You'll get that in testing.
Okay.
But I mean, you can't beat Myers-Briggs. It's so well normed against so many. I mean, virtually, there's not a profession out there that Myers-Briggs hasn't been normed for.
Right.
And
Tell people what Myers-Briggs does, David.
Well, the Myers-Briggs is it's called the Myers-Briggs type indicator. And so help me out here, Rhonda, a little bit. It's really a way to relate a person's personality using 4 scales primarily, right?
Right.
And so the scales and the names are a little bit, like for instance, the first one is extroversion, introversion.
Right.
But it's not in the sense that we usually think an extrovert or an introvert. That first scale indicates where you point your energy.
Exactly.
Is your energy. An extrovert has their energy pointed out.
Right.
Whereas an introvert has their energy pointed inside.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to say, how do you recharge?
There you go. The next scale is are you intuitive? Are you sensual? In other words, that second scale is the way guess the way you meet the world and interact with the world.
Exactly. Huh? And and it's not, sometimes you are it's on a spectrum and it's moving.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it's not putting you in a box and saying that you are this way. This is just the way you naturally seem to work with the world.
Right. That third scale is how do you go about using your mind? It's thinking versus feeling.
Yes.
And some of us are more one than the other. It would be interesting for the 4 of us to take the scale and see where we are.
Yes.
But that's basically how do you meet data? Are you a thinker or are you a feeler? And then the last one is judging or perceiving. So it's the way you orient toward time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. You did a great job summarizing that.
Thank you.
I'm sitting there going, "Go!"
I forget. I have no notes in front of me.
That's
and
good, David.
I forget Jay is. He zings me sometimes like that just to see. Okay, is the old man? Does the old man? Has the Alzheimer's kicked in yet?
You do no. You're.
You did great.
How do you do?
He did wonderful.
He did.
Yes.
But of those 4 scales, then if so the possibility is then 16 different types.
Exactly. Yes. Right.
I don't know what you are. I'm an ENFP.
I am an INFJ.
Okay. And Jay may not know what he is. He's going to say, I'm HIJKLMNOP.
QRSTUND. I have no idea. I haven't taken it. I actually, and when we were doing marriage and family the first term, I explored that, but it costs money to take it.
Yes.
Okay, well,
I
you
didn't-
come see me, and we'll give it to you.
Oh, you will?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make sure you get it.
Okay.
You
a great
need
test.
you need to have an experience with it, and
Okay.
so I'm glad you're using the Myers-Briggs to help people kind of focus on, okay, what do I want to do next? So what you do with quality consultants then is help people determine not only maybe career path, but backing up what kind of educational path
Exactly.
might
right.
I
exactly.
pursue?
And what type of educational path does your career require?
Right.
Some of them don't require a degree.
Yeah.
Others just require a certification or training or an internship or they don't just get in at the entry level and move up. But I think a lot of times people just feel like they can't make a change.
So you're going to have to promise to come back and do a program.
I would love
with,
to.
with me.
I would love to.
Since Jay invited you today, and I'm going to thank Jay for doing that.
Oh, anytime, buddy.
You'll have to come back when we do the
I'd love
entire
to.
program on quality consultants. But if you want, if what you've heard piques your curiosity, then how can people get you, Rhonda?
They can email me at qualityconsultants.la@gmail.com.
qualityconsultants.la@gmail.com.
Right.
So I can say things about Rhonda that she can't say about herself.
Yeah?
So I've had this course
As a
with her.
classmate,
As a
right?
classmate,
Yeah.
yes. As a classmate. And so I first met Rhonda at the beginning of this particular session, and we do a lot of role-playing in the course, and obviously you have questions and discussions. And
Y'all actually even did group in this class.
we
huh?
did.
Yeah.
This was group.
Group therapy, yeah.
And Rhonda is a pro. And Rhonda is going to make a very easy transition from what she does now, in my opinion, to whatever she decides to do with counseling. Rhonda and another of our classmates put on a simulated group about agoraphobia this
Oh.
week, and there were 6 or 7 groups that did their shtick. Without a doubt, hands down, Rhonda and her co-leader, Wade, blew it away. And Rhonda led. She was the leader in the group, and I learned a lot about cognitive behavior therapy and some other sort of thing.
REBT.
REBT, yeah.
Yes.
So there's all this lingo.
Rationally motive behavioral
Very
therapy.
good.
Yeah.
You're on the
But
ball
no,
today.
I mean she and so it was a great learning experience. So if you want to avail yourselves of her expertise in the thing she's doing now, I highly recommend her.
There you go.
Thank you, Jay.
So agoraphobia, it's a big word. And that's why I said agoraphobia. What? It's a big word. Before we go to break, what is it? Is there a simple definition of what agoraphobia is?
Yes.
Because it's an anxiety disorder.
It's an anxiety disorder, and basically it's an anxiety disorder that can be different things. It can be being afraid of being out in open spaces or in crowded places or even in enclosed places.
Right.
But it manifests by wanting to not leave the house.
Right.
You feel safe at home.
That's right. Someone with extreme agoraphobia will find ways not to venture out of
Right.
the house. They might go where they have to the grocery store.
Yes.
But it's going to be a quick
It's gonna
trip
be
and back.
uncomfortable.
They're going
Right.
to go at off hours.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
So we're going to dive into that this evening here on Strategies for Living with Rhonda Neal and with Jay Merle, and find out all that they've learned this year about agoraphobia. But we won't put them on stage, Jimmie. We won't do that.
No, why not?
No, not unless they go to Shreveport Little Theater and audition, because, Shreveport Little Theater is American theater at its best. The summer musical is going on right now. Cole Porter's Anything Goes, and it runs, you've got time, but the clock is ticking. It runs through the 30th, through July 30th. So you've still got plenty of performances left, but you need to get your tickets now, ShreveportLittleTheater.com. While you're there, check out the 23-24 season. It's going to be phenomenal. Always Patsy Cline in September. My Way, the music of Sinatra in October and November. The Wonderettes are back in December with Winter Wonderettes. In January, it's 5 women wearing the same dress. In February and March, Dial M for Murder. and Jimmy Buffett's Escape to Margaritaville in April. Go get your tickets for the 23-24, the 102nd season of Shreveport Little Theater, American theater at its best at 812 Margaret Place in Shreveport, ShreveportLittleTheater.com. And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for a Living here on 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Jimmie Bryant, David McMillian, of course, Jay Merle rejoins us. It's we've missed you. We really have.
Look, I have missed y'all.
But I got to tell you, I called you. I'm sitting there, Jimmie, one afternoon.
Yeah.
Ready to come to the radio show, right?
Right.
And I'm catching up on the news on Channel 3.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, the lead story is none other than Jay Merle, because it's about how hot weather, some occupations,
right,
with have such hot weather to work in, and of course Jay's crews are up on the roof.
It gets hot up there, Jimmie.
Yeah. But he did such a great job. I mean, I had to call him and immediately tell him, hey, you did good. I'm proud of you.
Awesome. Oh, that makes me feel good. Yeah. Thanks. Well, don't get between me and a camera. If they call and go, hey, would you like to be on Channel 3? Well, what time do I need to be there?
Let me show up.
It's called earned media for those of you that need to know.
There you go. Jay Merle, Rhonda Neal are our life strategists. They are both in the midst of earning their Master of Science degree in counseling out at LSU Shreveport. And they've just completed a course where, of course, all throughout the course, they're looking at the different diagnoses that they're going to be seeing if they practice in the community, if they so choose to practice general counseling, and one of which is agoraphobia. Had you heard of agoraphobia before? Did you know it at all?
Yes. I chose it as the topic.
So, if you're looking at a DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual.
Now that's that 15-pound book.
That's that 15-pound book that actually Lauren brought it in. They won't let me touch it anymore now that I've retired. So anyway, the agoraphobia, the diagnosis involves fear or anxiety about being out of the house, about using public transportation, about being in a limited space, an enclosed space, might be about standing in line or being in a crowd, or being in places where it at least the person's perception is it'll be difficult to escape. And it's active avoidance of situations that provoke anxiety and fear, and you can get feelings of course, helplessness. You can develop a real dependence on others, and it's kind of got a it's an anxiety disorder. But some people with agoraphobia can and do develop panic attacks.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it can be debilitating,
it can be. Yes, exactly.
Let me just explain. So this was my idea today, and let me explain how it came to fruition. So I was getting a contract recently for a roof, and I was sitting visiting with some folks, and we kind of got to be well acquainted, and he mentioned that a member of his family had the fear of going outside. And he related how just the other day, she and he went to Target to shop, and she gets as far as the shopping carts and says, "Look, I got to go home." Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she was trying. She was trying. Yep. And he related that the way it presents to her, one of the ways is she gets an upset stomach and sort of gets kind of clammy. Right. And she's taking some medication that was prescribed, I believe, by someone who is not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. A lot of family doctors, attempt to help people with anxiety disorders when you talk to them. Yeah. What I've discovered in my research is that getting over agoraphobia without treatment is about a 10% shot. It's very difficult. And if you think about it, even though, again, and that's why when you called me and said, let's do a program on agoraphobia, you notice I didn't hesitate. No, you didn't at all. And then I immediately thought about Rhonda because she just did a group on that. Exactly.
Well, and the thing that really led me to be interested in agoraphobia is that I've been working with young adults for the past 8 years. Right. And there's a lot of overlap with agoraphobia and social anxiety. Right. So their social anxiety manifests in a way that they don't want to leave the house. Exactly. Now, I don't know if this came up in your class, but one of the things that is really being talked about in terms of research out there, and it's ongoing, is did the pandemic, did our response to the pandemic and basically us all having to retreat into our homes and into our houses and restrict our movement out, the question that's being studied right now is, did that exacerbate? Did it really, for some people who might have been on the on the edge, did it kind of push them over? I don't know if you guys talked about that. Well, as a matter of fact, in the instance of this 22-year-old young woman that we were discussing that I was talking about to this family about, he said that this didn't happen until COVID. Okay, so COVID. Prior to that, she was fine anywhere, and it's only presented since COVID and being shut in. Well, and COVID made it easier for us to stay in. Yes. And so if we were encouraged to stay in. We were encouraged. Yeah. We were actually, and most places of business made it easy for us if we needed to continue to conduct business. Right. We conducted it from home. Right. And some of us found that there was benefit in being at home. There was a better work-life balance. Right. You could get more done because you could sit down and focus on what you're actually doing. And then that turned into, why would I ever leave? Right. And then it turned into, I don't want to leave. But what I find in young people is we have an idea that staying at home, I can't imagine Jay being in his house for 2 weeks. Can you? Jay would not, he would climb the walls. But people that don't have agoraphobia or are not inclined to stay at home don't understand why someone would do that. And it's not that they don't have a social life. There's absolutely a social life online.
Right.
And there's social life through virtual meetings, through chat rooms, through MMO video games. So they have a very full social life,
Absolutely.
but it's inside the house.
And that's so easy today with, again, social media
Right.
and Zoom and
Right.
all the other things that we can do to interact.
DoorDash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. So, I think the studies go forward. But my guess is that as the studies unfold, and there, I'm sure, are many of them that continue to go on right now, they're going to find that it had a major impact.
I think that, and also as a young adult, there's just so many fears out in the world that they are not ready to cope with or deal with
Right.
or have the coping mechanisms. But that doesn't mean that they don't want social interaction or they don't want to meet people face to face.
Right.
It's just this fear has overcome them.
Now, I think we should early, because we are strategies for living,
We
right,
are.
Jay?
Yes, we are.
So, I think early we should say that agoraphobia, it is one of the recognized phobias. And I don't know, you guys probably, you're going to take theories or something later. You're going to take some diagnostic stuff later. So you probably haven't gotten yet and unpacked.
No, we're newbies.
Yes,
the
we are.
huge list of phobias that are out there. But so agoraphobia is a phobia, and the thing that people need to hear is that phobias, the treatment of phobias, is highly successful.
Yeah.
It's an area that mental health counseling especially shines in. Right?
Right.
Did you guys talk about the different treatment possibilities that people can get coming to counseling and to therapy?
Oh boy, did we!
Yes. CBT.
We
of course.
discussed all the theories. Now, obviously, I'm a newbie, and I hone in on three particular theories.
Right.
Now, Rhonda did a completely different theory in this simulation that she did, and so why don't you
It was REBT.
All right. Rational emotive behavioral therapy.
Right.
now unpack that for
I'll
for
do
those
my
people that don't know what
best.
REBT is?
REBT, it's a very direct type of counseling, I guess, where you're more interested in the logical thinking
Right.
behind what has led to the behavior, and then well, it's a rational thinking that has led to an irrational behavior, and then you get back to that thinking and you change the thinking, which will change the behavior.
Right.
And I think it probably would work great in individual counseling, maybe not in a group setting.
Because
but
it was kind of aggressive.
It's aggressive, it is, but it does work.
But yeah, Rhonda, there was one of the classmates was really good at presenting the various symptoms of agoraphobia, and Rhonda honed in on it and pulled her out of her skin.
That's one way to say.
Yeah.
So REBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, is a mainstay in the treatment of agoraphobia. There's also systematic desensitization.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that sounds scary to some people. Systematic desensitization. So if I'm afraid of spiders, you mean I have to systematically get closer and closer to spiders? Not necessarily.
Right.
Right. But you've got to confront your fear, and that can be done. Systematic desensitization can be done with imagery.
Right.
So if you're afraid of snakes, for instance, you're not going to be desensitized to
Handling rattlers.
come handle a snake, right? But systematic desensitization is it's also called exposure therapy. So you slowly become more and more let me use the word comfortable with air quotes. But the way you do that is to also look at unpack the thinking along with the with the feeling, right?
Right. And as somebody that's struggling with agoraphobia, if you hear that if you go to a counselor, you're going to have to leave the house and go see this counselor and go out into the world, that can be scary. So we actually held class online that night as a virtual meeting, so that it would make the person dealing with agoraphobia more comfortable, and they can step by step start unpacking this.
I had an interesting case several years ago. I got a call from, he was a referral from a family doctor, and actually the doctor called me and told me about this situation. The young man he was a business owner. And but there had been some issues. He and his brother were in business together in central Louisiana. The family's from here, and the brother basically had retreated back to parents' house and wouldn't leave the house. And the doctor had tried the treatments that he could think of to try pharmacologically, and really encouraged him, okay, you really need to go unpack this with a counselor. But the problem, his mom called me and said, the problem is I don't think I can get him to your office.
Right.
And it was a very unique situation, because at that point, let's see, my office I think was in Buckner Square at that point, and the family lived way on out, and so, but I-20 was a savior for us, because another savior for us was Mom had a big van, and she told me all of this. So what we did is we did a form of systematic desensitization. And our first meeting was almost to the Texas line at a gas station, or a truck stop or whatever. And we systematically moved in to the point that he was able to eventually come into the office. And the great news here is that he eventually got to the point where he got back into his business and started again. He rejoined his brother and started again. But it was a confounding thing, and I don't want to make it sound like this was instant. This took place over several months, and it was like a few steps forward, and then a couple of steps backwards, and then 5 steps forward and 3 backwards, and it was that kind of progression. But the young man was really dedicated and stuck to it, and did his homework in between his sessions, and all was well as it ended.
If the patient wants it, it's more likely to happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's. We're talking about agoraphobia. What? We're talking about agoraphobia.
It's not a sweater.
It's. We're talking with Rhonda Neal and with Jay Merle. Let me talk to you about. Barbie, Oppenheimer, what do you call it? Barbenheimer. Yes. Well, Barbenheimer has taken over the Robinson Film Center. Those are the two movies right now. Barbie, everybody's talking about it. Oppenheimer, I think that snuck up on some people, but a lot of people are talking about it now. And 617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport, the Robinson Film Center, there's always great movies like Oppenheimer and Barbie going on at Robinson Film Center. There's no place like it. Abby Singer's Bistro. Watch What I Do to Jimmie. Duck nachos, Jimmie.
It's good food.
Yeah.
It's not fair what you do to me.
Seafood gumbo, Jimmie. What about chicken and waffles, Jimmie?
I just want to remind everybody, this can be DoorDashed to your home.
There you go. Okay, so there you go. Abby Singer's Bistro, full-service bistro, open Tuesday through Saturday for lunch and dinner at the Robinson. Here's the deal. Check out robinsonfilmcenter.org for all that we're talking about and more. You need to join the crowd. You need to join the fun. Become a member of Robinson Film Center. Get discounts on movies. Get concession upgrades. Get bistro deals. RFC, 617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. robinsonfilmcenter.org.
Reading begins not in the classroom, but in your child's brain. I'm Donisa Walker with Learning Rx Shreveport. If your child struggles to read, maybe he or she has trouble focusing or comprehending, Learning Rx Shreveport offers a science solution to reading problems, working one-on-one with your child, targeting his or her reading skills. Today, call Learning Rx Shreveport. Make an appointment to have your child assessed. I know you want to help your child, so does Learning Rx Shreveport.
And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living here on 1017 FM, 710 Keel. And Jimmie Bryant, David McMillian. Jay Merle returns.
Yes.
The prodigal returns.
Yes.
And brings Rhonda Neal with him.
Yes.
They are in classes together at LSU Shreveport. What, you're on your, both of you are three classes in now to your master's?
We finished two.
Okay, so you're signed up for your third class.
Right.
6 down, 54 to go.
There you go. But it goes quicker than you think because you know
It's
a semester goes quick, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially a summer semester.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
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 So we're talking about agoraphobia today, and it's a strange kind of thing. If a lot of people haven't heard of it before, but it's basically being confined. You don't want to leave home, and now. I had a strange case several years ago, many years ago, and the way I'll describe it, it didn't exactly meet the criteria for agoraphobia at all. But I worked with someone who was, and I ended up calling it agoraphobic to the cities.
Okay.
This person could move around Shreveport and Bossier City, any go all over the place. Felt very safe. Any place in Shreveport and Bossier City. But because of the profession the person was in, they really needed to go to Dallas, to Atlanta, to New Orleans, because they needed to avail themselves of continuing education opportunities for their profession, right? Mm-hmm. And in spite of trying, would get out on I-20, pass over the Texas border, and just go into sheer panic and have to come turn around.
Yeah.
Same thing at the airport. So the person worked with their doctor, tried all kinds of things. The doctor finally, said, you got to go unpack this because I've helped you pharmacologically, to the degree that I can.
Right.
It was a lot of unpacking. Turns out there was some childhood trauma,
Yeah.
a significant amount of childhood trauma in this person's background. And over time, did not happen instantly, but today this person travels freely all over the place.
That's great.
And on this person's desk, I'm not sure it's still there, but for a while there was a big picture of this person jumping out of an airplane, doing a tandem jump with somebody. But that was like the monument
Right.
to I have overcome
Right.
this agoraphobia.
Well, you mentioned childhood trauma.
Right.
A lot of times there's an activating event that leads to the thinking, that leads to the behavior.
Yes.
And for many people, that activating event may have been COVID.
Yes, exactly, Rhonda. And sometimes that activating event, and this is what is hard for people to understand, because sometimes that activating event can have happened a good deal in the past,
Right.
And it's not an instant connect.
Right.
It would be easy
Right.
if that were the case, but sometimes there's a good bit of time that elapses.
Mm-hmm.
Slow burn.
Yeah,
Right,
slow burn.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like I can't leave. I don't understand. I don't understand what's happening. So cognitive behavioral therapy, REBT, rationally motive behavioral therapy, systematic desensitization, a form of exposure therapy. For some people, in addition to like the cognitive behavioral therapies like hypnosis do a good job, just in terms of helping a person learn to systematically relax, and teaches them how to relax their body while they're learning from folks like you, folks like you in the future. Actually, as you move through your master's degree, you're already in this class. You had group class. You were working on each other.
True.
And that happens more and more. But then as you move through the classes, the neat thing is you get the opportunity to start working with people that you can convince, hey, come on. Let me work on you.
You also get a chance to work on yourself.
Yeah.
Amen.
So
Amen.
I'm a senior citizen and therefore qualify for tuition-free classes, and it's wonderful. But what I've learned,
is that a pretty easy process? Not to get off on that, but is that a pretty easy process?
You give them a copy of your driver's license, and they go, okay, it'll be $65.
Wow.
I'm jealous.
And the courses are like $1,250. Something
Sure.
Like that.
Yeah.
So in the state of Louisiana, this is a state of Louisiana thing, right?
It is.
So you can go to any state university.
I got a degree in aviation technology from Southern, and they didn't offer that opportunity.
Okay.
They said that they didn't have the funding, but LSU has had it because I've taken other courses there.
At LSU. Okay. And it's over
65.
Over 65. Okay. So what we would consider, and I take this personally.
They're young whippersnappers
We
to
are
me now.
Yeah, exactly. But what you would consider, quote unquote, I'm air quoting again, senior citizens.
Yeah, I qualify. I'm a septuagenarian.
Oh,
anyway,
there he goes using those big words.
Yes, big words.
Yeah, he always does that.
Yeah, there's that. But it's great. I'll tell you what. I got a whole lot. The first semester or summer session was marriage and family. Fabulous teacher, Tracy Pasol. She was fabulous. Got so much from that, and then as well from this group class that Rhonda and I were in together. Just it's neat to learn about how the mind works and why it works and what you can do and it ain't working the way it ought to work, or you want to be happier.
Absolutely.
And so that's really cool.
I think that, and of course, there's a lot of help that's available out there. But I think since the two of you are here, I'm going to get up on my soapbox for just a moment, if you'll allow me.
Please do.
And agoraphobia is one of the areas that this really shows up most. There's a lot of pharmacological help that doctors have available that they can prescribe and try with people. However, here's what we know from a lot of research, that it doesn't matter what the pharmacological approach is, whether it's one of the benzodiazepines or whether it's one of the antidepressant medications that also work with anxiety, because there's a lot of those that, work with depression, but they work with anxiety too. It doesn't matter what the prescription medication is. Here's what we know, that the medication works far better if at the same time you're taking the medication, you're going out and you're looking to do some counseling with a qualified licensed mental health practitioner. And we have a lot of well-trained practitioners in our community. You guys, if you pursued licensure with your degree, you would go for a license. You would eventually become licensed professional counselors, right?
Right.
But there's licensed professional counselors. There's licensed marriage and family therapists. There are licensed clinical social workers. So there's a number of professions out there, including clinical psychologists and others who provide help and psychotherapy. And that's really what's needed. Counseling, psychotherapy will work so much in tandem with whatever pharmacological intervention you might be using. Right. Counseling's important.
Yes.
What I'm reading in my homework before class was it only about 10% of the people that only go the pharmacological route are successful.
There you go.
Because it's in conjunction with therapy that you get this really good.
And telehealth is on the rise. You can find someone to work
Absolutely.
with you.
It's easier and easier. Never been easier now to treat anxiety disorders, including agoraphobia. Talking to Rhonda Neal and talking to Jay Merle here on Strategies for Living. We'll be back. And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for a Living here on 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Rhonda Neal is with us. Jay Merle's with us. Jimmie, Bryant, David McMillian here on Strategies for a Living. You know, we were talking during the break. This kind of subject, Rhonda and Jay, is the kind of subject that we need to present over and over on Strategies. I don't think we can do programs on things like this, social anxieties, things that are out there among us. I don't think we can do too many programs on them. Good. So,
Rhonda, let's help him.
You're going
individually and together.
You're going to come back and do one on social anxiety, right?
I would love to.
Okay. And we'll also have you back to specifically talk more about quality consultants and what you do right now to help people aim for, because there's a lot of people that, are out there doing their thing, but they're not happy. And they know they need to make a change.
Right, exactly.
But sometimes they don't know where to turn.
Fear keeps them where they are. Yeah.
So you can help them with that, and it's Quality Consultants, and you can get Rhonda at qualityconsultants.la@gmail.com.
Right.
And you can get me at 226 Roof. I do roofs.
Up on the roof. And, business good?
It's picked up.
There you go. All right. Can't wait for the next time you come. Rhonda can't wait for the next time you come.
Thank you.
And I think we covered a lot of ground today.
Well, thanks for having me. This has been fun.
Yeah. Well, now you know how to get to the station now. And we'll invite you back again and again and again. You've got an open door, as Jay knows he does. There you go.
It's fun.
Folks, thank you. Thank you for having fun with us here on Strategies for Living, and I hope we all learn a thing or two, because that's really what Strategies for Living is all about. We do it every day for you, and we appreciate we couldn't do it without you. And I tell you, we couldn't do it without our wonderful sponsors here on Strategies for Living. Pintail Roofing.
Roof.
The Robinson Film Center. Azalea Cleaners. Learning RX. Hempress, Cannabis with Love, 3766 Uri Drive in Shreveport, and the Shreveport Little Theater. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call, and what would you say, and why are you waiting? Make the call. For Rhonda Neal, for Jay Merle, for Jimmie Bryant, I'm David McMillian. See you next time here on Strategies for Living.
Help me